Is your family history currently in the danger zone, like a basement or an attic, where it could be mistaken for trash? Most people leave behind boxes of overwhelm. Without a plan, your most vital memories, your photo estate, could end up in the trash, simply because your heirs didn't know their value. Today I'm showing you the 5-step system to secure your history, so your heirs inherit a valuable asset they're excited to receive, not a burden they're forced to sort. To stop the chaos and start building your own photo estate, please subscribe below. I'm Tammy Copenhaver, a certified photo manager from the middle of nowhere, Montana. Experts believe that in just 1 or 2 generations, family stories are lost forever if they're not captured and documented right now. By doing this work now, you ensure your heirs inherit a curated archive. You are the only one who can distinguish the vital few from the trivial many before that history disappears. To get the free handout that outlines all the tips I'm sharing today, plus the link to my Heritage Asset Toolkit, be sure to click on the link in the video description below. So let's walk through the 5-step system to curate and organize your legacy images. So step 1, the first thing you want to do is you have some tools, and one of those tools is gloves. You never want to mess with your pictures or sort your pictures without gloves on. Even as much as we wash our hands, that oil from our hands transfers to our images and can damage them. So we take our box, and today it's just a few of the images that you might be dealing with or that we have. But what you're going to do is you're going to flip them over. You're not going to look at them. This is a great objective way to help sort your images faster. So you just put them into piles on matching, like if you have deckled edges, you put all the deckled edges together. If you have the same size, you put all the same size together. And when you do that, we'll sort from there. Sorting these photos into piles reunites separated eras of your photo estate before you even look at a single face. So once you have all of your images put into piles, you're going to look at the backside at the characteristics, and you're going to match the characteristics. Because oftentimes in these older photos, you'll be putting rolls of film together. More events will have a bigger picture, and you'll be able to discern what that era was, what that event was. Rather than looking at one particular photo, you might be looking at many. So there's a couple ways that I use to sort and organize my images and to cull them and curate them, gathering the vital few from the trivial many. And I use a couple different techniques. And you do this simultaneously, really. So the ABCs, which we credit Kathy Nelson, the founder of the Photo Managers, for coining this and identifying this technique to find your crown jewels of your collection. The other technique that I use is the 2-second rule. So you might look at an image, and in 2 seconds, do you have an emotion or a feeling or some recollection of that photo? So between the ABCs and the 2-second rule, you can curate your photos effectively and quickly. So the ABC method, and that is A, archive. So you're looking at a photo and you want to save it. You want to keep that in your archive and digitize it. B, it might be a photo that is irrelevant to your family or a landscape or a sunset, but you just can't bring yourself to throw it away. That goes in the B box. Maybe you look at a photo and it is blurry or irrelevant, landscapes. That can go in the C, which is the trash or the discard. And then the exception on that is maybe you have a blurry photo that is the only one of that photo, and it's an important photo. So you don't throw it away, but you put it in the A, because a blurry photo is better than no photo if it's a milestone or a life event. Our S's, because it's the ABCs, so the S is a story. Maybe you have come across an image that is very important and you want to do something more with that image. So you take a sticky note and you're going to write on there that you want to make a photo book or you want to enlarge it. You're not going to leave that sticky note on there forever, but you will be able to find it in your vast collection that you are curating. So one thing that I want to bring attention to is mistakes that I've seen with photos. Many people get so excited when they start organizing their photos and they take a Sharpie or a ballpoint pen and they write the information on the back of the photo. And we're so thankful that they're documenting. The only problem is that Sharpie and that ballpoint pen will eventually bleed through the image and ruin it. So you want to make sure that you always use a photo-safe pencil. And we recommend Stablio or a soft #2 lead pencil, something that is photo-safe to document the information on the back of your photos. And the things that we want to document, it doesn't have to be a book. It doesn't have to be really detailed. I call the 5 W's: the who, what, when, where, and why. And it doesn't have to be long. It could be Uncle John, dinner, Thanksgiving, 1965. It doesn't have to be a lot of information, but just that little bit of information, your heirs will be so thankful. So step 4 in the process is batching and naming. So we have index cards as part of our tools, a pen, and when you have your sorted images, and maybe you have a stack of photos by 1940s, or maybe you have a stack of photos that's Christmas in 1940s. You write on the index card all the information that you can think of for that particular batch of photos. 1940s, Christmas, whatever other information, and then you put that index card with your images as you sort. Because that index card, when you start scanning, is going to help you with the file names and the folder names of those images, so that when you start to put this together, it will come together in chronological order and in some sense. Documentation is the start of your provenance, and the file names are the final piece. We don't want to use IMG-123. That doesn't tell us anything about that photo. We want to use year, month, day, if at all possible. If you don't have that granular information, even a decade is great. Could be 1950s harvest, but that ensures that your heirs find the image valuable 20 years from now. Step 5, the backup, your spare tire. You want to scan your prints at a minimum of 600 ppi and your slides and negatives at 3000 ppi. That is industry standard, and you want to do that so if you want to make an enlargement, you have the ability to. Anything less, you can't enlarge. You also want to make sure that you're using the 3-2-1 backup strategy. 3 copies, 2 different media sources, 1 off-site or in the cloud. You always want to have backup drives and redundant copies of your work. There are 3 paths to a secured estate. So path A is the do-it-yourself. You're doing it in your lifetime, you control it, your timeline. You do this work now, so your heirs have the gift later. So path B is collaborative. Maybe you're finding as you're working through path A that this is not your cup of tea and you don't enjoy this. So path B is collaborative. Maybe you enjoy parts of it, but you don't want to deal with the technical aspects of it, so you collaborate with a photo manager. And you can find a photo manager in your area that you're comfortable with by going to thephotomanagers.com, find a pro. And there we are worldwide, we are available, and we love to help families with their photo estates. Path C, the directive. You place a provision in your estate plan now to fund a professional to curate your legacy later. This ensures that your photo estate is never mistaken for trash. Of the 3 paths we talked about today, A, B, or C, which one sounds like the best way to protect your family story? Drop the answer in the comments. I've created a free handout that teaches you all the tips that I shared today, plus a link to my Heritage Asset Toolkit. Be sure to download it using the link below. Don't leave your family memories to chance. Like, subscribe, and check out my other video on what happens to your photos when you're gone.